We're over here at Bryan's. We just got Randy's on the lift. We're gonna go ahead and start working on it tonight. We're gonna pull that transmission out. We're gonna see if we can solve the problem of the broke flex plate bolts. So it's coming together. He's going up now. Let's go check it out when it gets up and see what it looks like under there. We've not been under there but just a minute, so this will be a first look. So y'all get live reaction of the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you think, Randy? Ugly or bad or good? We'll see. I might not be able to reach it. Bryan put a new pump on the lift and it is gone high. Yeah. We used to have to be like on stools to work on it, but it's up here now. No, you know what I see? Huh. Nothing. I don't see squat.
What the hell is this?
It's hard to see. We're gonna have to start taking it apart. That big billet back in converter makes it very difficult to see. All right, we're gonna pull it apart. We'll let you know how it goes. All right, so Randy's working on this. He's working on getting the transmission out, drive shafts out, wishbones down. Just got the starter off of it. So he is working on it. It'll be out in another few minutes. Your time, our time, about another 30 minutes. All right, so Randy just got the transmission out and you can see the bolts are sheared. Most of them are flush. That one broke way down in there. So, I mean, looks like, hopefully they're gonna come out fairly easy. Back of the crankshaft don't look terrible, but that one's screwing out. So hopefully they will be fine. Crankshaft's good. Have plenty of thread engagement. That was not the issue. I think they were just too long. So we pulled it out you can see the back of it. So this is the TCI of the wheel, I think. It had that spacer on it that was bolted to it. And it just, it destroyed the bolts. It's crazy. So we got another flex plate. He got a Mazir, I think is how you say it. So we're gonna stick that on. See if we can get some clearance. Okay, so Randy's got this thing out. Back of crankshaft's okay. He's got everything cleaned up. There's a couple spots on it where when it was spinning, it kind of beat it up a little bit. So we just sanded it down a little bit, just got it nice and smooth, got those high spots off. Nothing like sanding on the back of a $3,000 billet crankshaft, but it is what it is. So he's good over there. So this is the torque converter. We're about to put it back in real fast. We're gonna put the new flex plate on it. And we're going to torque it down, install this, and see if we can check our clearances, see what we need to do to get that big thick spacer off of it. So that's what we're about to do now. So let's see what happens. Okay, got some progress done on Randy's. New flex plates on, torque down, everything's looking good there. We did run into a little issue on the spacing. So you can see the converter is gone. It's going back to Lenny's. We need to cut a little bit off of it. Previously, Randy had a spacer plate, a 1/2-inch spacer plate, and was running a Chevrolet bell housing. So now that's gone, so we got to do a little bit more spacing and figuring. From what it looks like, we're going to take a 250 thousandths off the mounting pads on the converter, and then that should mount up good. So we'll see. Check it out. We'll come back when we get the converter done. All right, so Randy and Bryan done a jam-up job getting the transmission back in. Got the converter pushed all up in there, so you can see here, now we have perfect spacing. Torque converter spacing is about 150 thousandths on this, so 125 to 187 is about what you want from what most torque converter companies recommend. So we're right there where we want to be. So the torque converter is installed, transmission's good. We're going to slide the torque converter up. We're going to bolt it to the flex plate, and then we're going to get started on the rest of it. Turn the motor over so we can see if we have any other issues in the motor, in the Valvetrain potentially, since it went way high into RPM when the flex plate bolts broke. That was the exhaust last time. Bent all the exhaust valves. We got the transmission done, so Bryan's running through the valves real fast. We're going to see if we got any bent valves. That rocker's got a lot of lash. Is any of the other ones on that side loose? How's the blower look? Doesn't look like it's bent to me.
Just got one. So.
Okay, so that's easy to figure out if it's got a bent valve on that one. So that's what we're going to do now. You going to pull the other valve cover off here? Okay.
Good, isn't it?
I think so.
It does not look good. Okay, we're about to do a cranking compression on this thing. We just got all the spark plugs out. I think it might have a bent valve or two, but we're going to try to verify. So we got everything hooked up. So here's our gauge. That's very low. The first number is usually the one that hits the hardest, and it didn't hit the like the 60.
Are you ready? Undo it?
Yeah, undo it. And you count the number of like clicks it goes over. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
We'll let you do that.
So that was 4. First one was just barely over 60. Okay, let it go. Let's move to the next cylinder. All right, so this is the last one, cylinder number 4. So far, we got everything consistent, either good or bad. All right, so now we're gonna pull some of the rocker arms off a couple cylinders and stick some compressed air in them and see if we can hear the exhaust and intake leaking. So the cranking compression from every cylinder was similar. They were all pretty close. The whole bank on the passenger side was a little lower than the driver's side, so we decided to put the compressed air on it and check it. Did hear some of the exhaust valves leaking into the exhaust pipe. So now we're going to go ahead and take the heads off of it and see what we got.
We're broke right now. Go buy another one.
There's a bad to the bone impact. They're snatching the heads off of it real fast. I've been back there working on mine. Mine is getting closer, but I'm done for the night on mine. So I'm going to observe and supervise them continue to take the heads off. Y'all good with that?
My side's about done. I'm fixing to be supervising you. How'd that feel, Randy?
Randy's about to be doing the other side by himself.
Man, my back is killing me, and I'm ready to quit. I don't want to hear no dumb shit.
All right, so we'll show you what we got once they get the heads off of it. All right, so the heads are off. They got them snatched off real quick. Didn't take them but a couple minutes to get them off. Looks like we do have a couple bent valves, and I'm gonna have to resurface them. But overall, I mean, the heads don't look like they're in terrible shape. So hopefully it'll be minimal time at the machine shop. We'll see. The gasket was leaking a little bit on this side. It was there and it broke the bolts. It got up there on the rev limiter. So when it gets up there on the rev limiter, free revving, you know, it was lean, it was catching it, and it was doing a bunch of crazy shit up there. So, I mean, it was doing a bunch of crazy stuff up there. But transmission is good. So we're attacking one problem at a time. So he's going to take these up to TKM, Kevin Mullins, and he'll take a look at them and see what he needs to do. Well, I hate to say it, but it really seems like we've been playing fix apart, break apart, find apart, always work on these things. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, these are race cars. We're asking a lot out of them. I mean, we're pushing them hard. We're pushing them to the limit. And you can see on Randy's car, I mean, there ain't nothing junk on that motor. I mean, he bought the best of the best of the best, and we're having little hiccups. And unfortunately, when you have a little hiccup at 2,500 horsepower, you know, over 2,000 horsepower, whatever it makes, when you have a hiccup, those high-dollar expensive parts are like glass. They become very brittle, it seems. And so we're fixing it, breaking it, repeating, and we're hopefully almost off of that record on the repeat, and we can just start laying down some really good passes. It's got so much potential. It's got such a good opportunity to go fast. And, it's just a lot of work, though. I mean, and a lot of people don't see the work involved, even when you have the high-end teams that have, $1 million programs. I mean, they're not sitting on their hands either. I mean, they're breaking parts all the time and, and working with it and making them go. So we're no different. It's a challenge. It's hard, but we have fun. We enjoy racing. It's a good time. I appreciate y'all hanging out with us today. If you haven't already done so, please hit that like and subscribe button. That way you can keep track of our builds and our progress. Y'all have fun and go fast and get some win likes.